This is an exclusive lesson from 30 Secret Videos and Drills Volume 2. Stay tuned till the end for more info. In my latest lesson on YouTube, I was teaching you about natural cue ball control and why it's so important to always visualize or imagine what the cue ball will do if you use a firm stroke, which path the cue ball will take along a couple of rails on a table, and this will very often give you the easiest and best position you can get on the next shot, even though it looks a bit wild. So let's use this 9-ball situation and show you the different options to actually get on a 9-ball, and then I'm going to show you the right way to play this shot and why it's even important to use spin on the right shot. Very, very important and interesting lesson to come. So first of all, let's actually take ball in hand. Imagine this is a match, we have ball in hand and we want to get a nice position on a 9-ball. What a whole lot of players would actually do, they give themselves a bit of an angle and then they're just trying to stun out one rail towards here, end up with a nice and easy shot on a 9-ball. So low, touch of left spin. And as you can see, the cue ball travels a nice path, but obviously I underhit the shot and I have a really, really difficult and thin cut on the 9. The cue ball would have traveled just a bit further. Then you can see we already have a very nice and makeable shot on a 9-ball. So this shot is very, very dependent on speed, and it's just not natural. You have to force the cue ball. You need to put some speed on the cue ball, and this is not very natural. So instead, what you could do is just use the roll of the cue ball, just use high and some right spin to bring the cue ball from here to here and then once again into that area. So let's have a look once again, high and some right spin. This already is a bit more natural and speed control is a bit easier. And if you're playing this shot with maximum spin, the spin will always widen the angle above the side pocket. If you're experienced enough, this is always the right shot to play. But let's pretend you don't understand this yet. So if you don't really know what's happening with the cue ball and you give yourself too much angle and you try to play it with high and right, then as you can see, the cue ball will go further away from the 9-ball. And even though we don't have a whole lot of angle on the 9-ball, we're just way too far away from the 9-ball. This is why I also don't like this type of shot and why I use actually a shot where we once again using natural cue ball control and we're going multiple rails and get a nice position on a 9-ball. Many beginners think there are hundreds and thousands of different shots on a pool table and you have to know every single situation, but it's basically always the same concept. You always have the same angles. Cue ball physics is always the same, it's always the same principle. So if you know the rules and a certain amount of angles, then you can actually adapt to every single situation. So long story short, what do I want to do here? So I actually want to give myself more angle, and I would genuinely do this in a match even with ball in hand. I give myself more angle and then I'm trying to let the cue ball come its natural path from here to here and then nicely into the line of the 9-ball. And it's very important to understand which angle is natural. So this, for example, would be too little. So the problem here is with this angle, just a high ball by the way, you can see the cue ball doesn't really take a nice path. I have to hit really hard because I just was too straight and this is not a shot I want to have on a 9-ball. So I needed to give myself a bit more angle. But the problem is if I'm giving myself more angle and just play a high ball, then the cue ball won't hit here, but the cue ball will actually come towards here. So have a look at that. You can see once again, really not a nice shot. This is why I have to use some inside spin on that type of shot. And the inside spin will actually help me to bring the cue ball a bit earlier towards here. It certainly will make the cue ball gain some speed of those rails, and then the cue ball eventually hits here and not here and takes a nice path. But why do you have to use inside spin on a shot when inside spin is always so difficult? Well, the problem is if you actually want to hit here with the cue ball without using any spin, then you once again need less angle. But what happens with less angle? Then of course you have to hit harder once again because the cue ball loses so much energy. So with this little angle you really have to power the ball, and if you have to power the ball once again it becomes uncontrollable and I still hit too soft on that shot. This is why you have to give yourself more angle on that shot. So for example like this, and then to still hit the rail right here, you need a touch of inside spin because otherwise with less angle, the cue ball will travel more towards here. If you're enjoying this video so far, over 30 more are already waiting for you, and I created this package to elevate your game with exclusive lessons on fundamentals, cue ball control, kicking, and even aiming. So whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or just learn some new things, this package is something for everyone. Don't miss out and visit my shop for instant access. So let me play this shot. Of course, as a right-handed player, this would be easier, because then I can easily get closer to the ball, which makes the whole thing a whole lot easier. As a left-handed player, I have to bring the cue ball a bit further away. So let me show you how this looks. Playing, by the way, with my new shaft. So this is really insane, by the way. I almost don't have to adjust for deflection. Really interesting cue. So long story short, let's use some right spin here. And as you can see, I underhit the shot a bit, but I really didn't hit that hard, and the cue ball takes really a nice path. So let it do it once again. You play it a bit better. Hit a bit harder. You actually almost can't overhit the shot. You can see nice path, and the cue ball actually goes nicely into the line of the 9 ball. Still, you can see the cue ball can travel all the way to here. So I think this is already good enough. Bit harder would have been nice, but as you can see, this is just, in my opinion, so much more reliable than playing the shot we had before with low left, which is the worst option here. Of course, what you could do is, if you're trying to just go one rail, once again, give yourself a bit more angle. Then once again, it's a bit easier to control the speed of the cue ball. As you can see, so this is also a very valid option, especially if you're in that situation as I am, and if you're a left-handed player, and if you have to bring the cue ball so far away from the object ball, you still have to stretch, then this is actually a better solution as a left-handed player. But as a right-handed player, you can actually get so close to the ball. It's so much easier. Let me try to play that right-handed. You can see missed it right-handed, but once again, you can see the natural cue ball's path. So this is actually a really nice path. So keep in mind, natural cue ball control, give yourself enough angle, not that much angle that it's really difficult to make the ball, especially if you're far away. And don't try to always use little angle and force the cue ball around like here, where you really have to power. Once again, underhit the shot. So natural cue ball control is all about visualizing which path the cue ball will take naturally, and then sometimes support the whole thing with natural spin, left or right spin. Sometimes it's not even necessary, but in this example, as you saw, the right spin, the inside spin was necessary. To get all the videos from this package, head over to my shop, and if you subscribe to my newsletter, you can actually win 30 Secret Videos and Drills Volume 1. I'm giving away 3 copies, so sign up to my newsletter, it's completely free.